Dr. Christina Greer of Fordham University joins me now, and we are so lucky. We're always so lucky when we get to talk to you. Everybody loves the Christina Greer. They want you to come to Vegas in April to Pod Jam 3. Your name is on the top of the list to come, so we're trying to drum up the money. See
Oh,
if we can
right. I
afford to
remember we talked
bring you
about it
out.
briefly last year, but
Last year, but I couldn't make it work. It needs to be worth your while. So this year, we're trying to drum it up, trying to make it worth your while. I don't know how you feel about that town. Is there any incentive for you to
no.
travel?
I haven't been to Vegas since my cousin's wedding in like 2004.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
you don't
I
play
just,
cards,
I don't like gambling. I don't believe in
right?
gambling. I don't believe in giving rich people my money. Just literally handing it over. It's one thing if I get something in return, like I'm buying something, but like this is literally just like, oh, you're a billionaire. Here's my money. Like that to me just seems
Do you want to
crazy.
shame me because I know that the lottery just propagates, it accentuates poverty. It's just really, really pernicious idea. But I and 15 of my high school friends are in the Powerball this Saturday night. We plan to win.
Oh, yeah, listen, we do that with as a family. I think it's a fun
Okay.
collective exercise, and some of that money does go back to taxes. Like to the state's coffers. That to me, like playing the lotto, is different from a
Okay.
casino. The lotto is like a state or funded endeavor, and I think a lot of people like yes, it's hopes and dreams. I get it. But my cousin's really into like with the Powerballs. We're on like the family group text, and we all put in 10 or $20, and
Mm.
we usually end up winning like $20 from all the tickets, and she'll put that into the new pot to
Oh, we
buy
never
money for the
win
next
anything.
Powerball. Like if you have like one or
Yeah.
two numbers
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm.
And we're all over the different states. So like some cousins might, go to a gas station in Illinois and another goes in Florida, whatever.
Uh,
I like it because during the Powerball season, we talk a lot more because I have this one cousin who's really, really into it. Um,
you know what else black people talk a lot more about than white people? Their cousins.
oh yeah. It's like, do white people have cousins?
No.
It's like you all never talk about your cousins or
Never.
play cousins. Like it's
We definitely don't
crazy.
have play cousins. We barely talk and have relationships with our cousins. Some white people watching this will be like, that's not true. No. Okay, there
I
are
talked to Jim
exceptions.
10 years ago.
There are exceptions, but we see our cousins, white people see our cousins on Christmas, my friend.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I didn't grow up with my cousins. Like they're considerably older. None of them ever lived. We've never lived in the same state, but they're still my cousins. And so now with technology, we're getting much closer. But because my dad was in a frat, all of his fraternity brothers, their kids are my cousins.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
literally,
nonsense. That is nonsense.
I mean,
It
well, I
sounds
guess
wonderful for you,
as
but
black people, like I call them my Q cousins just so people don't get confused. But
oh,
like
all right. That's great.
there are my Q. I'm probably closer to my Q cousins than I am to
Well,
my
yeah,
actual
that
cousins.
would make sense.
I grew up with them.
Also,
Like,
you picked them.
yeah,
Or somebody did. Your dad picked those
right,
friends. He picked that
yeah,
fraternity. There's a certain set of values and so on. But yeah, family is rough, especially this time of year. I was just
yeah.
talking to somebody. This is when a lot goes down. All
Well,
right.
someone was saying Thanksgiving and Christmas are too close together because it's like for some people you got to see family twice in like basically a month, and they're like, that's too much.
Did you see or know anything about this Mel Robbins lady?
Who's Mel Robbins?
All right, fair enough. She's this kind of. I love when you don't know like some of the most popular people in certain lanes. Like Mel Robbins is this self-helper, podcaster, author, TED talker type, motivational. She has this idea, this theory, which is just repackaged old theories called "Let Them." Let them. You haven't heard
Oh
of this?
no,
Well, don't
listen.
watch it. Go watch the criticisms of her because I am absolutely there for them. But she wrote this op-ed with some psychologist on, just before Thanksgiving about getting over your issues that you have with your family and how you should just
Oh
get over it and because you won't get
oh
them back and all this. And like,
oh,
especially people of color, gay people were like, well, no.
girl, sit down. Right. Well, I mean, listen, there's some people who belong to families where their family members don't respect their humanity. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's all we're
you're not
saying.
going to get over that. I
Right.
do think, though, like in a micro level, not when it comes to, someone's transphobic or homophobic or racist, like, I don't subscribe to that. But as far as like quirky nuances with, our parents or kids or cousins, right, aunts and uncles, someone told me this a long time ago, which on a much smaller scale, is more like a personality trait.
Mm.
It said the sooner you accept people, so let's just say family members, for who they are and not who you want them to be, you'll be much happier. And I do think that that's the case. Like, we all have either a mother or a mother-in-law,
Yeah.
who's just like, hey, every thought that's in your head doesn't need to be said. Right. So it's like, you don't need to say every single thing that you're thinking at the dinner table. But it's just like, hey, that's who she is. So like, let me just rock with it. Because it might be annoying, but it's not offensive. Like I think it's not even a fine line. There is a difference between someone who's like insulting and cruel and mean to someone in their family and their identity versus someone who's just like, if you don't stop chewing with your mouth open or like,
My dad and I got
picking your teeth at the table.
That's
Like,
disgusting. But my dad, I would never do either of those, by the way. My dad and I got an argument over Thanksgiving over snow tires. I don't even know if you would know what snow tires are, right? You
I
grew up
do
in
know. I
Massachusetts.
lived in Massachusetts.
Yeah, I know, but I
and
mean,
Chicago.
yeah, but a lot of people don't know, and that was our argument. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my argument with my dad is he doesn't know how to ask a direct question.
Oh, that's a
And
little
it
deeper.
drives me
That's a little deeper.
insane.
What
Like,
do you
so it's like,
at his age is a highly educated
yeah, no, but it's like, but for these types of things, like, hey, Pete, did you want a piece of pie?
Yes,
No, I'm good. Oh, okay. So whenever you do want a piece of pie, I'll have a piece of pie too.
Oh, what the hell's that about?
Just say you want a piece of pie. Like, and my sister
Yeah.
is just sort of like, Daddy, do you want a piece of pie? I'll go grab you a piece of pie. Like, you're 78 years old. Like, I'll give
He's
you a piece
always
of pie.
done that little tactic?
It's gotten exponentially worse since he's gotten
I
in his
think it's
70s.
I think it's understandable if
Like
that
during COVID, I literally
I
was
love that.
like, I'm going. My sister's like, just get him the pie, and I was like, no, you need to ask
That's
directly
funny.
if you want something, because it's like you taught us to
He's
ask directly for what
one
we
of the
want. So like,
things
what are you
there's
doing?
so many things I love about you and your personality, and one of the things I think one of my favorite things, and I wonder if it's underappreciated about you, is you're very unpredictable and sometimes contradictory. And so I just want to bring it up. Like I was somewhat surprised that you were a little open-minded and supportive of the lotto, and you made an argument. It's a fun, distraction and so on. But
I mean, I don't do it except for with
never
my cousins.
forget,
But yeah.
never forget a quiet moment where I was very vulnerable. Where many that you and I have had off the air, and I was telling you I was moving out, how hard it was going to be to miss the birds and all the critters. And you said something in the effect, "Wow, I'm gonna miss my birds. You're gonna have birds at your new place."
I
That's
mean,
what you
like
said.
all of a sudden, it's like the birds can only live in whatever county. They can't go over to wherever.
So then
That's where you
I
live.
said that I was a little sad about letting go of my car. I had to send my car off to the dump. And then I reminded you that I'd learned my lesson from you about attachment and to not get attached. And you said, no, that's understandable. Being attached to a car. And I was like, well, who are you? What kind of a teacher?
Marcy.
What are you teaching?
Because it's like I still think about Marcy, my 1981
It was fun.
Mercedes diesel
Listen to her.
SD.
Listen to her
I
talking
love her.
about.
I love her. I got her
Is
with
there anything else?
222,000 miles on her.
Based on that, we're still talking about the car. Based on that, is there anything else that you're attached to? Objects, inanimate objects?
No, I mean, here's the thing. I tell my students all the time. I was like, everybody needs to work on a campaign and everybody needs to get robbed. And I was like, and I'm not talking about gun to the head, you're in therapy for the rest of your life. But like you need to walk into your house one time and your shit's not there. Like, I think it is a character building exercise because you realize it's just stuff. So those of your listeners who've been through divorce and you let things go or had to leave, whatever it is, it's like it's just stuff. Material goods really mean nothing. Like at the end of the day, I told you one of my besties from college lost everything, the Altadena fire, everything. And it's like, yeah, you're rebuilding a life. Like you still have a life to rebuild. Like that's the gift. So, okay, like the world didn't end. You just have to get new stuff because that's all it is. It's just material goods. And so I think it is helpful to realize that. But that doesn't mean that we can't have fondness for certain things and nostalgia. Like I think about all the fun times I had in this, this black diesel car. And then I'm a really good keeper of cars. Like I flesh out the transmission, I get the oil change every quarter. I know how to take care of a car. So because of that, I've had long cars for a long time.
Yeah. What do you put on your windshield?
What do I put on my windshield? I wash my windshield.
The
key is to wash the windshield wipers and wipe them down,
You don't
and
rain.
that maximizes your windshield
Where
wiper.
where are you in the product Rain-X? How much
Oh,
do you know?
I don't have a car anymore.
Oh, so
You know, I'm trying to travel light, travel
you get
far,
that.
kid. Like, I don't need all this stuff.
But it's great that you know how to take care of one. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, going back in our chat to white people cousins, the white people are spouting off, and it is hilarious. Rachel wrote,
I have cousins.
she wrote, most of my cousins would steal my things. And then she wrote, no Christmas. My cousins are funerals only. And you know what, Chrissy?
Oh,
I think that's true of me, and I think that's a kind of like it's a tough thing to hear.
you all
Like,
are like a weddings and funerals type of family?
I mean, I almost think only funerals. I don't think
Mhm.
that my cousins didn't invite me to their kids' weddings,
Yeah.
and they will probably we probably will. I attended their parents'
Yeah.
funerals. That's a
Not
tough
funerals. Ooh, funerals
funerals
only cousins.
only
That's wild.
cousins, right? Ugh.
That's deep.
All right. Well, let's get into some of the news of the day or of the world. Do you want to? I've
I
got
mean, I
the,
guess. I haven't been out in nature. It's been so cold. I feel like that's kind of part of why I'm like low energy and
I
have
have
like
been.
malaise.
I'm getting out. I've been getting out every day. If the sun's out, I'm out for sure. I got a new way of dressing appropriately, and I just have to get out and feeling the sun.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very December choice of mine this year. I'm like, December is dark as fuck. I'm gonna get out whenever there's sun. I've also been meditating in the sunlight in my bedroom.
So listen, yesterday I was having a day. And so I caught the sun and just like I went out, sat on a bench and just sat in the sun. I also brought myself a glass of wine while I did that.
That is,
Um
God, I wish I walked up on you and I saw that. I was like, Chrissy, are you on a bench with wine? You didn't bring a glass though. You didn't bring a wine glass.
no, I put it in a little tumbler.
Right. I did visualize you with a goblet.
No, I do have a goblet. When I host parties, I drink out of a goblet.
I bet.
Because if I drink out of the same type of glass that everyone else has, I'm always putting my glass down because I'm hosting and getting the door and blah blah blah. So I have a goblet so I can always find my glass. But I realize it makes me look totally insane that I'm walking around in like a Mrs. Roper dress and a goblet.
A couple of your other choices, dude, as well. I saw you shared on Instagram or something your socks of bird legs.
I'm only on Instagram now.
Instagram. Why don't you post more? Let's get into it. You know, I don't. Someone with your kind of education, intelligence, and wisdom, combination of all the things that make you you, I actually want to hear from you. And yet so many other people are spouting off. And I realize that you're going to give me some kind of principled or probably even workflow excuse as to why you're not posting your thoughts about things more. But I went over to the Blue Sky. You haven't been there for months.
No.
Where you're not posting your thoughts about things anywhere. How am I supposed to think?
You can visit my podcast that I engage in every week. Every Tuesday morning it's posted, FAQ NYC. You hear lots of my thoughts there.
But I feel like a lot of that is New York City related, which I do want to ask you.
Yeah, it is. I have a weekly column in the Amsterdam News. I talk about my thoughts there. Like I do MSNBC still a lot. But as far as like writing down I mean, the last few semesters, I will say, Twitter's dead. It's like an old mall. It's like a Sears and a JC Penney's barely hanging on. Like, and like a
Twitter is a
Claire's.
spirit Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Claire's and like one of those kiosks that sells, cell phone covers. That's like literally. So I don't find Twitter interesting.
That struck me. That kiosk thing struck me as racism. I felt. I feel like you were targeting a certain group of Eastern Europeans. They're tiny screwdrivers and tracksuits.
Okay, I haven't been to a mall in a really
$1,000.
So I haven't been to a mall in a long time. But Twitter to me is just like I don't find it interesting, and I find the news there unreliable. Blue Sky, I don't really know enough people.
Just post. Come on.
To say what? I mean, I also don't believe in just like talking to talk.
Yeah, I think you should though, because you're someone who should. That's the thing.
Yeah, well,
I know that you don't.
Too much noise, and it's like all these other people just.
There is too much noise, but there's not. There, you need to. All right, I'll leave you alone. But I think that there is too much noise, and I would. Love drives out hate, or in this case, your sharp, intellectual, nuanced views drive out the kind of mindless, simplistic drivel that gets posted. And
everyone's got like a Substack these days, and I'm like trying to write other projects. Like to me, as an academic, like all of my journalist type friends have Substacks, and I'm sure there's some academics that have it too. But I'm like, I need to be writing to like publish it someplace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the thing
That's just
here,
like
let me
musing.
just say this about you. I wasn't planning this to have this part of the conversation, but I would like you're such a my job is to find great guests. You happen to be one of people's favorite guests. And part of the reason is that you can talk about all the issues that matter to us most in the world, but people love when we do mostly what we've been doing today and talk about other either mundane things or kind of emotional, spiritual life things. You could be making one video every day, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, and posting it on Substack. And it would be so much better and more interesting because you are a very unique individual person that there's not a lot of people like. And that and I say that not to flatter you, but because I know how people that listen to you when you come on my show react to you. And there's a few other people like that. And so I exploit the shit out of people like you.
Yeah, well, you know what? I also need a staff and a team, and you know how busy my life is. So it's like,
Post a video. Just post a video. You don't need a
I mean,
staff for that. Whatever you say, talk about candles. I'm fucking there for it.
oh, I'm like a big
I know.
spruce candle
Pete, talk about
person.
Pete. You know what? If seriously, I just saw this comedian go on and make something, baked something. Like show us your oxtails. You know what I mean?
All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about it. Maybe in 2026, I'll try it for like a month or something.
Let's annoy her. Let's start annoying her. A campaign to tell her what we think she is worth to us on Substack. All right. All right. I wanted to ask you a bunch of stuff and things.
Okay.
And I also can tell because I never tell Chrissy what I want to talk about, but you can tell in her facial reaction when I get to the question, her desire to talk about it. And sometimes she'll be like, yeah, let's go. And sometimes she'll be like, so I'm still going to ask you though. I want to ask you about the rise of the white Christian nationalist movement, and where do you think that it is at? The conventional wisdom is there's this fracture amongst MAGA, and it is being led by this young kid Nick Fuentes, who I'm kind of obsessed with watching because of what he's doing and how he's doing it. I think it's really interesting and super, super dangerous and awful for women and people of color, obviously, the LGBT community. Are you paying any attention to that fracture and the white Christian nationalist movement?
No, I'm paying attention to the sort of like the electoral fallout, like after November 4th, like how Republicans, didn't really turn out for these like special races, in these odd number years. I mean, I don't call them Christians. I mean, I call them like they're part of a movement, but I think the word Christian is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So that's like a label that doesn't really have any heft for me.
I would agree, except for it's bookended by white and nationalist, and I think it helps us know who exactly we're talking about.
It's white nationalists that hide behind a Bible to
They
torment
have
people.
A mouth full of scripture and a heart full of hate.
Yeah. So it's like, then these are people who spout scripture, but I would not call them Christians. I mean, like, I know you think it's like a semantics thing or whatever, but it's like, I do think as someone who considers herself a Christian,
I totally understand that. And I used to say that about Muslim terrorists. I'm like, I don't call them Muslim. I used to say that same thing. But I feel like in America, the reason to use the word Christian is because we know that each one of those words, I don't love labels and so on, but I do like white Christian nationalist or supremacist. I'll swap that last word out. But because I think it really denotes exactly what we're talking about, and who we're talking about are the most powerful people in the world, and they want to create a Margaret Atwood like America, like a Gilead, and that's Christian based. But I mean,
their interpretation of Christianity.
It's their interpretation of Christian, which is a white supremacist interpretation,
right? Which is
an anti-woman,
right? So, anywho, but let's not get caught up in that. So like the Nick Fuentes, huh? What'd you say?
I said, see, she doesn't want to do it. I know quickly if you want to do it.
I mean, it's like, why do I want to? I don't want to talk about racist white people all the time. They're there. They are ruining everything. Okay, great. We get it. Like, what else about them? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like Nick Fuentes. You keep saying horrible things. You keep getting more attention. You keep repeating it. And so we know in this attention economy, you just keep repeating something until more and more people believe it to be fact. He is tapping into things that people secretly believe, and some people overtly believe it. But like, I choose not to spend my time thinking about people who don't respect my humanity. I tend to spend my time thinking about how I can help people
right,
who are in this world. And I'm leaving them out of that category because they're on their own agenda and I'm on mine.
Let's talk about how that's working in terms of New York City right now. I mean, I think this election of Mamdani is an inflection point. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
super talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday I saw him in arena full of Orthodox Jewish
Mm-hmm.
men, almost entirely men, right?
Oh
Probably.
yeah. Oh.
And everybody's smiling, having a
Mm-hmm.
good time. How do you think this transition is going, and why do you think he right now is the man of the
The
year,
moment.
the moment?
Well, one, he's a fantastic campaigner. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone capture the moment and work as hard. I mean, like, it's hard work, but like, think of it this time. This time last year, he was at 1%, barely. And through sheer, like, let me talk about things that people care about in this creative, interesting way and just let the snowball become a snowball. Some of it is timing and luck. That's just the way life works sometimes. But like even the fun ads on TikTok and Instagram, and of course, he's the youngest candidate in the race in the primary. He knows how to use all of these way better than, you know, you and I. And we're not even the 67-year-old candidates in the race.
7.
Oh my God. I can't. So even when he's talking about like make halal $8 again, that's a policy conversation. That's not just oh yeah, we love halal carts and like, it's like no, it's protecting the workers. It's talking about the price of food, which we can all understand. It's talking about what the consumer has to pay. So it was just really done in a great way. The transition's hard, right? I mean, he's a huge transition team, a mix of old and new. So of course there are going to be some.
He has a criminal guy who was in jail for 7 years. He put him on his team to help.
Absolutely, which I think is like.
Why would you put a criminal on your?
Why? What do you mean a criminal? He's out of prison, first of all, not jail, prison. And it's sort of, I was explaining this to Clay Kane yesterday, and we were talking about this. It's like, if you and I are going to build a house, and what, we don't have an architect on there? We don't have anybody who knows how to use tools?
Nobody can get past the idea that someone committed a crime and then changed their life and became the best person to fight crime and to help people.
Right. Exactly. Unless you're Bernie Carrick, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's rehabilitated. It's great. Right. So it's like when it's white electeds and white powerful people and they can go to prison, come back, and it's like, it's awful in there. I'm now a criminal justice reformer. Great. But when other folks are like, no, I was in there for 7 years. Here are the conditions. Here's what it did do. Here's what it didn't do. Here's what rehabilitation looks like. Here's what being on the outside looks like and how you can try and get a job. But, you're sort of banning the black box and all these other things. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense to have someone like that on there because he said, I'm trying to have a multifaceted conversation. It's like when I go to these meetings that we're talking about education, it's like, where are the kids? We're having conversations about education. We don't have any kids here. Right? I went to some fancy event years ago at this rich person's house, and it was about public school education. It was all these super wealthy people talking about it was charter schools. That's what it was. Charter school education. And so I look around and I was like, does anybody in here have a kid in charter school? No. Does anybody in here work in a charter school? No. Then I was like, does anybody in here work in education? Just me. So I was like, we're having this hoity-toity conversation about education and what needs to happen in charter schools. And I was like, none of y'all are even in the mix. You don't know a principal. You don't know a kid in a charter school. You don't know anything except for you have money and you wake up and you think you're smart. So I just think that the transition team is interesting because it is old school people. Some cast characters, some of those names are very familiar, and some of them aren't. And it's like we got to make new space at the table for new folks. I do think that January 1 is for inauguration is one of the best things that New York does. I think it's romantic. I think it's engaging. I think it's emotionally recharging and a reset to have the mayor be sworn in on January 1st. I'm going to be out of the country. I was thinking about coming back for it. I'm not. But, I do think that it marks a new beginning. I've been reading a lot about John Lindsay and LaGuardia and Dinkins and Bloomberg, just because I think that those are the 4 mayoralties that will probably look like a confluence of a Mamdani mayoralty. I think the Islamophobia will be rampant, and I like our press corps. I think that they're hardworking and smart and kind people. I don't think that their racial lens is where it should
Where do you
be.
think? Yeah, so I feel like he's going to just debunk so much of that. Just the more you get to know him, the less scared and more difficult it'll be to kind of demagogue him as a scary Muslim. I mean, Jesus, the guy is so likable and handsome and charismatic. That alone makes it hard to demonize him through, unfortunately, a lot of male politicians, especially. But nonetheless, how are they still going to use that to scare? What is that? What would you possibly believe at this point? That he's going to bring Sharia to New York?
I mean, listen,
that kind of nonsense.
We still have a lot of folks in New York City who are just like, he's an anti-Semite. How? He's literally, he's like, I can't tell you enough. Like, I can't show you enough, right? I mean, there's some people that because he is Muslim, there's an assumption that he is anti-Jewish. Makes no sense. But there's a significant vocal portion of the city that will not be moved by anything he does. So he'll have to sort of combat that. But, like, as I just said, if people say things long enough and loud enough and long enough and repeat it enough, then all of a sudden it's like, well, is that true? It's like, it's not true. And we're wasting time. Like, let's move on.
What about,
and let's be clear also, right now, he's in the era of good feelings. Like, if he can't deliver on these things in 3 to 6 months, then everyone turns against him, and the left and the right? And the folks on the far left don't want him to compromise with anyone. And so that's going to be difficult because they're going to be up in arms about, like, why is he, having meetings with these people? It's like, because he's got to run the city. And the small percentage of hardcore progressives are just that, a very small percentage in the city.
A lot of the conventional wisdom was that Republicans across the country would connect every Democrat to this social, democratic socialist. Yeah. And then he went and met with Trump in the Oval Office, and Trump said all these unbelievably kind and generous things about him. And the reason for that is, by the way,
celebrity
Trump loves celebrities.
Yeah, exactly. And he's the man of the moment, and he understands, like, oh my gosh, he's like the cool kid at the table that I was never invited to. I mean, so the Republicans are like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's like what he always does. He can't be trusted, right? Like, you can't trust him to follow a message. But I mean, the thing is, it's like, so you want to link every Democrat to the man who's articulating affordability in a way that, like, you all can't. You want to link Democrats to a man where it's like, you all keep saying you're taking away Obamacare, but you have never once said what you're going to replace it with, besides higher premiums and people going bankrupt. Like, you got Robert Kennedy Jr. saying, like, no vaccines, we're going to just get sicker. I mean, we got South Carolina, the measles, we got no hepatitis B for babies. Like, the list goes on. And so you guys are going to attach yourselves to these guys? So it's just like the incompetence on the Trump team is just making it harder for Republicans. And so they'll grasp at straws, and obviously a significant portion of Americans will believe it. But I also think that this ICE stuff across the country, these ICE raids and the brutality and cruelty and just total disregard for human beings, citizen or not, I think for some weak-leaning Republicans and even kind of moderate Republicans, the hardcores, they're immune. But they're like, this is ICE is so what do you mean they're doing the right thing? They're going to court to, like, see what they're supposed to do, and you're arresting them in court? Like, what do you mean you arrested a 6-year-old? What do you mean you pepper sprayed a 1-year-old? What do you mean this kid is a U.S. citizen?
Every day, story after story after story like this. Veterans, citizens being caught. Veterans. Yesterday, I saw a cop apologize to a black guy. Like, it's for, the
20-year-old Somali who's like, here's my ID, I'm an American citizen, and you threw him down in the snow. Like, folks are just sort of like, well, a lot of people are like, this is our community, like, don't do that. And it's one thing when you see it on the news and it's like, oh, wow, well, maybe that person, right? Maybe something. And then when you start seeing it in your own neighbor, it's like, no, I know this person. Yeah. Like, he works with me. He works for me. I work for him, whatever it is.
He's on my lawn. He's mowing my lawn.
His kids go to my school, right? I mean, this one woman, she was like, yeah, they cut my trees every week for the past 15 years. Like, they're my landscapers and I trust them. And so it's like, what are you doing? So, you're arresting kids or parents while they take their kids to school. Like, so now you have a whole family living in trauma. You have a whole community living in trauma. And not just the financial trauma, not just psychological trauma. This is like cellular in your body.
Oh, yeah. Generational. Pass it down.
We were literally, before we got on air, listeners, talking about, like, kind of the wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's like they said what the cortisone levels just kind of waking you up. And a lot of people do that, that kind of 2:30 to 3:30. For some people, it's a 3 to 4. For other people, it's just the same time every night, 4:06, you're up. And so that's a lot of folks just, it's like they're not even getting sleep. I think that's also very telling that the president doesn't sleep, because that means he's just walking around like a maniac. If you don't sleep, then that's just
we were talking about Mamdani, and you brought up these ICE raids, and you're saying that this is perpetuated. This is a message that's being sent every day, in addition to everything else that we're seeing. I think to make a larger point about what it means for either public opinion or the midterm elections or the direction of the country.
Wait, I didn't hear the question. Was there a question, or was that a statement?
No, it was trying to bring us back to why you brought up the optics of these ICE raids, I think, which I forget. We were making a case about Mamdani and Democratic Socialists and.
Oh yeah. So I mean, listen, he's got a hard road to hoe, because there's one thing to deal with ICE agents. He's also like, we have enough, like the NYPD is here to protect us, so we don't need this external force. But there are some folks who think that we have too much NYPD, or NYPD is too strong. So then that gets into,
they're doing the job of social workers.
Right. That part too, right? That they're not trained for, and police and citizens would both agree. Yeah, you're not trained for it. Yeah. So, I mean, there could be a lot of scenarios of different trade-offs that he's making, right? So it's like, do I lean into kind of giving the NYPD what they want so that I can sort of stave off ICE? Like, that could be a strategy.
Sure.
But then, of course, certain New Yorkers are going to be like, you're doing what with the NYPD?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, how do you fight back with ICE? Does the NYPD team up with ICE against you because you're perceived as, too lenient? Does the president turn on you? Whatever it may be. So right now, though, he's like the man of the hour, and we all know that era doesn't last forever.
Well, what is the talk? Why hasn't New York City been targeted by the federal government?
Oh, here's the thing. We have been targeted. Like, these things are happening.
Not in the same.
Not happening. They're not happening in wide scale.
Yeah.
Having the same wide scale. But what has been very clear is that they have been happening. Mm-hmm. And so, we were talking about this the other day. Is it because we're so big, like geographically diffuse? It's happening in different communities in the different boroughs. So it doesn't seem like a collective, but we've seen it happen, like on Canal Street, where the West Africans sell, knockoff bags.
Yes, right.
We've seen it happen in Queens. We've seen it happening at the courthouses. Yeah. So like, it is definitely happening. It's just, for Trump, the optics of having a smaller city, geographically smaller too, and having kind of this presence makes it look bigger than it is. In New York, it's sort of scattershot. And so I don't know. And, after the meeting with Mamdani, it sort of went well. That sort of bought us a little bit of time. But like, we have to be very honest and clear that like, they are here in a lot of neighborhoods. And talking to, business owners, restaurant owners, talking to my own students who have undocumented parents, it's just, people are just also in the shadows. And in New York, it's like a little bit easier to have kind of like underground economies, in particular neighborhoods, just because we have so many immigrant communities, so many networks where kind of they're already a little bit established. But we, different restaurateurs are like, half of my kitchen's not showing up.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And that's and that's, people who are also documented, but they're just like, I can't take a chance if you live in a mixed status household, like whatever it may be. For some people, it's like, I'm the breadwinner. So like, if I get picked up, then everybody else is SOL. So, I mean, this level of fear that they have unleashed, all because y'all couldn't vote for this black lady because she wasn't perfect. And here we are.
Speaking of black ladies who aren't perfect, what do you think of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett running for Senate in Texas? A woman running for Senate in Texas? I know Ann Richards was the governor there. That was a long time ago. Things were different. But a black woman running for Senate in Texas?
We forget that people don't like black women. And we don't like a particular type of black woman.
Who forgets that?
I think every election season people forget it. Because I read this piece in The Nation. It's like, here's how she's going to win. And I was like, this is interesting because there's zero racial or gender analysis in this.
What do you think about what is there a phrase that we should attach to the type of Black woman she is, because I think it matters, right? In that she's very caustic in her language, and she speaks, some people use the phrase authentically Black. I don't know if that's a phrase you're comfortable with, or if we need one, but I think it matters to delineate, because she's so powerful, and she seemed very fearless. I've interviewed her several times back when she was a Texas state congresswoman. I've been following her career. She's also extremely intelligent and very, very good in two formats that matter: committee hearings, questioning a witness, and interviews. And obviously she can give a speech, but a lot of people can do that last one. So I feel
Which is so interesting, because her rollout does not have her speaking at all.
Well, we can talk about what you make of that, but just should we delineate or defer to the type of Black woman she is? Does it matter in conversation?
I think it matters so she's a fantastic fundraiser. She and AOC.
You mentioned that. Yeah. Well, because she's so fun to watch and exciting, and the reason she's such a great fundraiser, I would argue, is because she's the type of person people will literally pay to come see, almost in concert, like a musician, an artist.
Yeah. And I think that when you have someone that dynamic, that also motivates the opposition to fundraise aggressively as well, right? Because they see that she's going to get money. But money's not votes. Money's helpful for votes.
Beto O'Rourke was a good fundraiser.
Lots of people are great fundraisers. I think what we have to have honest conversations about is like the type of state you're running in.
Yeah.
Texas is the South, and it's massive and all the things. You have also a significant Latino population, and we know Latinos are not guaranteed to vote for Black people.
Right.
Full stop. The data has shown us this time and time again. Is she like an Angela Also Brooks, or at least the Blunt Rochester, or a Kamala, or even a Carol Moseley Braun? Those are the 4 Black women who have been elected to Senate in the history of our nation. No, she's not. Is it, we're in 2025, we'll be in 2026. People are just like, I want something new. Sure. I don't know. It's Texas. Like, it's still a much more conservative state by and large, right? So I don't know if this strategy of authentic speaking to voters is something that voters are going to. Don't forget, she's got to get past a primary with a white candidate who's
James
not, and he's not foreign to Black people. Like,
is he not? I don't know what Black people think of him.
A lot of them like him.
Okay.
So
maybe because they think he can win.
There's always that. I mean, a lot of people are just like, well, a white man winning statewide over a Black woman. We've seen this time and time again. Clearly Democrats don't have a track record for that in Texas, but that will be the argument, obviously.
I think
I just think it'll be interesting because, Black people aren't a monolith, as I've written over here. So I am curious to see if her style of communication works statewide.
So her style of communication, we'll see if that works. But I want to just name it one more time. People code switch: white people, women, men. Black folks code switch when they're talking, not always, in front of white or Hispanic or Black audiences. Obviously, I feel like Jasmine Crockett, whether she's talking to me or some white person, I feel like she always acts like she's talking to Black people. She doesn't care who she's talking to. And I feel like some white people don't love or aren't comfortable with the fact that she's not code switching back to a different kind of syntax and style. And I also think that's why some white people, white people who like her, like me, love that she doesn't do that, because I think that the way that she communicates that way is people will call it, sometimes they refer as like ghetto. She talks like she's in the ghetto. And I hear a person who's extremely effective. That's all I hear is effectiveness when she talks the way that she does to a witness or to, Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody else when she's on a committee. I feel like that maybe it's not that important to mention, but I do feel like she doesn't really change for anybody.
No, she doesn't. And I think we'll see if that strategy works.
There it is. Right. So lastly, let's get out of news and politics. Just tell me how to deal with this time of year. How are you doing it? We started it, and I like to end it this way with you. You've got your practices. Let's go through the senses. Yeah. We've got you can smell, you can hear, you can feel. So we could be talking about the clothes you wear, the candles you burn, and obviously you can eat and you can drink. And I feel like you have a seasonal preference for a lot of these things, although it sounds like you're a little bit underwater and haven't been practicing your own practice.
I know. I've been okay, but not great because I haven't been to my botanic garden in a long time, so that lets me know just kind of.
But you still go during the winter. You're happy to go to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like certain things are evergreen.
What,
So
what do you got?
obviously my spruce candles. Those are like my winter candles.
Oh, you go right to the spruce,
Like the pine or the
coniferous.
spruce, just because
Yeah.
it feels like Christmas, right?
Oh, same. Love it.
I
Although, is there a best, strongest one? Does candle quality actually matter? Like,
think
for
so.
aroma? I think it does.
I haven't gotten them this season. I don't know if they're there because I looked a few months ago and they weren't. But I used to love West Elm. I thought they had the best
Oh, okay.
spruce candles.
Do you think it is are other scents, including incense, is that low class? Is it beneath?
No, I burn incense
You do
all
okay.
day, every day.
Oh,
Like,
great.
like
Okay.
Bob Marley's house in here. I like literally. I wake up. I have a morning ritual. I wake up. I put on my French press, like boil the water for my French press for my coffee, and while that's boiling, I light 2 incense, one in the kitchen and one in the
Every morning you do that.
every single morning.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because it's like it
You got
wakes up the senses.
You got a kind of incense you?
Frankincense and myrrh, just nothing super fancy.
3 white.
Sometimes Palo Santo, sometimes Nag Champa.
Frankincense and myrrh. I love Nag Champa.
And
Okay.
then like on Sundays, I do like the charcoal and the crystals and like burn out the whole house and just get the energy from the week out of here so we can start fresh.
Oh, I like.
I took my iPad out of my living room because I just felt like I was like putting on music and doing the shuffle. And I realized I wasn't listening to my records like I did when I was in my 20s, which made me slow down. So I'm on like month 2 of only listening to records.
Ooh. Because the shuffle, I'm sorry, just the you don't like the idea of it doing all the work. You want to pick and choose.
Yeah, it's just like because then my music's just in the background and I'm just I'm moving. Like I can just do something for 4 hours. Whereas like with a record, after like 20 minutes, you hear
right.
It's like, oh, I gotta go and like change it. And then it's like, but what do I feel like listening to? So then I have to like dig through and sort of, I've got my greatest.
Right.
I mean, I listen to a lot of Aretha Franklin. I have all my father's records from college.
You listen to a lot of Aretha Franklin albums.
Yeah.
Does she have a lot of albums? I'm guessing.
A lot of albums from the time period that my dad was really into music. He has like 10 Aretha Franklin albums from like the 60s and the early 70s.
All right, I got scent. I got music. I got.
Hearing.
What are we doing with our lights? Are there any lighting gimmicks?
So
that's working.
I mean, I sat out in the sun. Get
in the sun when it's out.
I also once I light the 2 incense, I go and I move this one particular curtain to the side, so that's where all the bright sunlight comes out.
Oh, there you go.
And the greatest housewarming gift someone gave me was a little sticker of like a rainbow that I put on my wall. So I have rainbows throughout the house all day. So I have all these stickers on my windows. So when the sun hits it, it's like these little prisms. So I have these different types of rainbows that like interact and like the crystal ball type thing. So it's like a disco crystal ball. So like if I'm here throughout the day, I could just be like a cat and just like have rainbows that extend all the way into like the kitchen and down my hallway. It's
I like
great.
it. I want to see that actually. I don't know exactly. You're describing it, but maybe you can share a picture. Okay.
So then there's that. And then as far as touch, we didn't talk on November 11th, which is my favorite day of the year. Hi, veterans. Happy Veterans Day. But it's also National Corduroy Day because it's the day that looks most like corduroy. So it's my favorite fabric. And corduroy in the wintertime. I actually wear corduroy all year round. But like corduroy, I think is the best fabric. And it makes me happy. It makes me genuinely happy.
Wow.
Like
it's a lot.
The feel of corduroy and even though as kids, like, for those of us who are Gen Xers, it's like, what? We hated it. We all wore corduroy when we were kids, but it's like, no, there's something about corduroy, thin whale, not wide whale, that just makes me really happy. And it's like the king's cloth. So maybe I just feel like it makes me feel regal.
What was that Gen X thing you shared on Instagram?
Oh, quicksand. Yeah. My God. So, okay. So
here's the laugh where I was standing in the store. Why am I looking at my fucking phone? Instagram.
At the last class of every class that I teach, we go over the exam, my expectations, yada, yada. And then there's usually like 30 minutes left. And so the last 30 minutes of every single class that I teach, students can ask me anything at all. Not politics. It could be about whatever is on your mind. What does the M stand for in your middle name? What do you like to eat? Where's your favorite place to travel? Give us advice on friendship and love and blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's great.
Who do you think is going to win in 2028? All the things.
That's worth the tuition alone, those 20 minutes with Christy.
It's 30 minutes of just, and I'm a little, less buttoned up, and so I just give it to them straight. And the things that have been on their mind, like, they're like, you said on the second day of class, like, you didn't like so-and-so. Why is that? And so it's like, oh, okay.
Was it Stephen A. Smith?
Oh, I listen. Stephen A. Smith is on. He's on the like Andrew Yang of Mount Rushmore. People need to.
Joy Reid had such a tear on him the other night.
Oh, it's so genius.
Did you
She's
see it?
brilliant, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. So I say all that to say, someone asked, like, what were you afraid of as like a kid or something like that? Or like, what are you
Mm,
afraid of, or something like that. And I said, listen, you ask anybody who's Generation X. I was like,
yeah,
we will all tell you quicksand. And they were like,
sure.
what's quicksand? And I get so animated, and they're like, what are you talking about? They're like, what is even quicksand? And I was just like, you don't understand. Like that movie Never Ending Story, you
Raiders
Trey
of
or
the
whatever
Lost
that,
Ark.
all of them. I was like,
Yeah,
every child, I was like, we thought we were going to be kidnapped
yeah,
and also die in quicksand.
that's right.
And they're just like, who's ever thought of quicksand? I was like, every single person who's like 45
That's
and
right.
older.
It's
So
ridiculous. Ridiculous that
a
that was
student,
ever a fear of any of ours. I
a
hate that.
student was like, oh my gosh, put in the group chat, like, Professor Greer, I asked my older sister about quicksand and she like wigged out. It was like, right. Like, so then that story says that the man almost dies in quicksand in Utah or something like that. And when I tell you my blood pressure shot
Yeah,
through the roof.
I bet. It did with me too when I saw you share. I don't think you should have shared it. It was triggering for us.
Well, I said trigger warning.
Yeah,
I
you
said
did. You
trigger
did.
warning.
Finally, is there something did I miss anything? But is
Oh,
there
taste.
something cooking? Yeah, tasting. What do we eat? What are we
What do I
cooking this time of
have?
year? Do you have a pot that you put things? You have a
No, I mean,
stew?
well, for Christmas Eve, I'm like shackled to the stove because my family likes my oxtails. So I just
Right.
have to make like vats and
But
vats of oxtails.
give me your like Wednesday or whatever, something you might cook at home during December. Is there a thing? Is there a warm? Is there a
Oh, I make a lot of duck.
what's wrong with you?
Just-
Who makes a
I
lot
do.
of duck?
Duck
Who makes
confit. It's fantastic. Over
where
rice.
you buy a duck? Where do you get
Yeah,
a
from my
duck
I got
even?
a guy. I got a duck guy at the farmer's market. He's amazing, Jason. I buy duck confit and I cook it on the stove. And so then it falls off the bone, and then I put it over white rice with like a spicy chili oil. And and usually some veggies on the side. But when I tell you, it is, I just sent you the picture of it. It's
Oh.
beautiful and incredible, and it is delicious. Um,
Oh, do you
so
make it for people? Do people enjoy your duck
yeah,
confit?
people love my duck. Um, it's delicious. Uh,
There
and
it is.
then a
All
friend
right,
of mine
let's see
went
this.
to Uganda,
Or duck.
and got my favorite gin and brought me back 2 bottles.
Oh, that's
You
what we're
only
drinking.
get it in Uganda.
Ugandan
Um,
gin is a
it's
December
called
thing.
Warangi gin,
Mm,
and it's nice and smooth and light, and it's great. And I make basically gin club soda, fresh lime. Boom.
that's
That's
it.
it.
That's your December
That's
drink. There you
that's
go, folks.
that's my all year drink, but
There it is, the all year drink.
my all year drink. So yeah, that's that. Those are the 5
We
senses.
love our December Chrissy. And those students
I'm
are
nice and pale. It's all the things.
you're gonna go somewhere, I think.
Oh
Is it
yeah,
gonna be in the
always.
sun?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you'll send photos.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Christina Greer, always the greatest. We thank you so much for being here, and
Anytime.
always our pleasure. Thanks everybody for watching live, and you should go follow Chrissy on Instagram because apparently that's the only place she's posting. But she
That's all
did
you
post
get.
there about this event in January. If you're in New York, you could go. It's gonna be in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Cafe Rudy. I'm talking New York City politics.
Cool. Hopefully that'll be taped
It's a
for your podcast too.
fantastic French. No, it's not part of my podcast, but it's a
Oh,
French Senegalese restaurant, shop, and like nail salon, like beauty salon.
yeah.
But the shop is so interesting. It's like books and clothes and jewelry. And so the shop owner and I were just kind of talking about like building community and like having conversations,
Great.
and she cares about the people who like, it's like a neighborhood restaurant that, people come from far and wide to eat there. The food is delicious. So we decided to just do like a talk so people could like come to the shop and have a little meal afterwards if they feel like it. It's where I get my nails done.
I was gonna ask you, are you loyal to a nail person?
Yes.
How long?
I've been going there for like 2 years.
Wow.
She has my nails growing like raccoon feet.
Lucky
And
her.
they're super strong.
She says your nails are growing like raccoon feet.
I say my nails are growing like
You
raccoon
said
feet.
that.
Because they're so like they grow so fast and they're so strong now. And that's really hard to find. So yeah.
Well, they look great. Thank you very much. Goodbye again. Thank you everybody for watching, and we're always so lucky to be in your presence. Thank you, Chrissy.
Happy holidays, gang.
Over and out. Oh no, I'm still
Nope.
going.
You're
Still
still
going.
going.
Still going.